Last week on Friday, Sean Burke, Enoch Burke's father, and Isaac Burke, Enoch Burke's brother, were removed from the Court of Appeal at the direction of the judge, when the judge basically, in order that they be removed, told the Gardai to take them out. The background to this particular application, and it was an application in the Court of Appeal, it was an application from GSOC, that's the Gardai Síochána Ombudsman Commission, who are tasked with the job of investigating complaints against Gardai. The background to this is that Simeon Burke, another brother of Enoch Burke, was convicted. Simeon Burke was at the time a trainee barrister, and he has subsequently been called to the bar, but he has a criminal conviction for a public order offence arising from an incident on a particular occasion in the Court of Appeal, I think it was, where the guards were brought in to carry out, forcibly remove Enoch Burke, Simeon Burke, and some other members of the family on that occasion. Arising from that, there was a public order offence prosecution brought against Simeon Burke in the district court. Simeon Burke contested the prosecution and was convicted. So he's convicted of a public order offence. He's in the difficult position now of being a man of law, as it were, a barrister called to the bar, swearing oaths and so on and so forth to adhere to the rule of law and respect the courts and so forth, and he has a public order offence conviction. He has appealed that conviction, and I assume it's going to go, obviously it will go to the circuit court, but the application in this particular kerfuffle last week in the Court of Appeal was to do with GSOC, the Garda Services Ombudsman Commission, investigating complaints from the Burke family, from Enoch Burke, from Amy Burke, and I think from Simeon Burke, about the way the Gardai behaved on that particular occasion, which led to the conviction of Simeon Burke. So GSOC must inquire into and investigate complaints against the Gardai in question, and GSOC, as part of that, applied to the Court of Appeal for a copy of the ambient recording. So in the court there is a digital audio recording, and when the digital audio recording is turned off, there's an ambient recording. They were looking for the ambient recording. Clearly, if GSOC are investigating complaints against Gardai, and if there's allegations that the Gardai behaved inappropriately and unprofessionally and, for example, manhandled Simeon Burke or other members of the Burke family, well then GSOC would, as part of their investigation, presumably look for the ambient recording and the digital audio recording, and that might assist GSOC with their investigation. However, last week then there was an application by GSOC to the Court of Appeal to get the ambient recording, and this application was being opposed by Enoch Burke by video link from Mountjoy Prison, and Sean Burke and Isaac Burke were in the court. What happened in court then was there was a bit of toing and froing, and basically Enoch Burke was telling the judge that he had to throw out the application, that he had no authority, he had no jurisdiction to grant the order to GSOC, and the ambient recording should not be made available. The judge spoke to counsel for the other side and invited submissions, but between the jigs and the reels, Enoch Burke, by video link from Mountjoy, as I say, was engaging in speaking over the judge and interjections and so on. So the judge ordered that his microphone be turned off. With this, then, Sean Burke, Enoch Burke's father, and Isaac Burke, Enoch Burke's brother, objected very vociferously in the court, and they were objecting. So the judge then made an order that the two gentlemen in question be removed. And Enoch Burke, just to be clear, accused Mr. Justice John Edwards of mischaracterising his submissions and the court of having its own private agenda on the matter. So Mr. Justice Edwards said, Mr. Burke, you are your own worst enemy. Just let the court engage with counsel on the other side first, and I'll come to you in a moment. So this was a situation where the judge was speaking to counsel or inviting a submission from counsel for the other side, the moving party, the counsel on behalf of GSOC, but Mr. Burke apparently spoke over the judge, and the judge basically turned off the microphone, and then the objections came from Sean Burke, Enoch's father, and Isaac Burke, his brother, and after continuing eruptions, Mr. Justice Edwards warned that Enoch's Burke microphone would be muted, at which point his father Sean and brother Isaac stood and loudly protested while Enoch Burke continued. The judge asked for silence, then asked for the court staff to mute the microphone. Sean and Isaac Burke then began repeatedly shouting objection to the move. Mr. Justice Edwards then asked the registrar to summon Gardai to the court to have Sean and Isaac Burke removed. The judge said, "It's my firm direction these two gentlemen be removed because they are in contempt of court." So that's what happened there. The judge is now going to consider the matter and see whether he has jurisdiction to grant this order or not. Enoch Burke rather says he doesn't have jurisdiction and must throw out the application, but the judge is going to consider that, and the case has been adjourned to, I think, early December. And just to be clear, Enoch Burke said to Mr. Justice Edwards in the course of the hearing that the judge was paid, quote, in excess of €300,000 to rule, not to delay, and not to the advantage of one party, GSOC. And Mr. Burke said there were very grave implications for the administration of justice should anything other than dismissal of this application occur, adding that the proceedings were partial to GSOC if not dismissed. So there you have another occasion. The matter has been adjourned to December the 8th, another occasion when Sean Burke has been removed forcibly from the court by Gardai, and another occasion when the matter has been put back or adjourned because the matter was not able to be conducted, quite frankly, in the way that you might normally expect an application for recordings or ambient recordings or any other type of application to be conducted. It's interesting too, you might ask yourself why Enoch Burke and the Burke family would be opposed to GSOC getting the ambient recording. Is there something in the ambient recording, for example, that won't support their complaints about the behaviour of the Gardai? Is there something in the ambient recording that may support, in fact, the Gardai in what they did on that occasion, and, as I say, on the occasion which gave rise to the conviction of Simeon Burke for public order offence? I don't know. Bottom line is, GSOC have received complaints from the Burkes about particular Gardai, the Gardai in the Court of Appeal on that occasion. GSOC must investigate. GSOC, as part of their investigation, are looking for the recording and gathering as much evidence as they can as to what happened in the court on that occasion, which is reasonable enough, I would have thought. And the Burkes' position is they don't want the ambient recording to be handed over to GSOC. Hope you find this video informative, useful, or whatever. If you do, give it a thumbs up down below, and if you are interested, you may be listening to this on my podcast, the Irish Law and Small Business Podcast. If you are, I would appreciate if you left a review either on iTunes or Spotify or wherever. Thanks a lot.